Hey, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you've been well. Today I want to go over 5 things that for me have been the best purchases in filmmaking that I've made in the last year or so. These are things that have helped me to create better work, things that have made my life a lot easier, and also things that just make the whole process that bit smoother. So getting straight into it, for the last year or so I've been using a Tiffen black pro mist filter and I've been really pleased with the results. So I opted for the 1.8 version and for me that's absolutely spot on. I still get a really nice bloom in the highlights, it softens up the skin a little bit, but I don't think it's overkill like some filters out there, and yeah, it's spot on for what I need. You can see here what I mean about the bloom on the highlights. For me, it's a really cool look and I really like that kind of style. So one issue that I have with Sony sometimes is that the image coming out of the camera can look a little bit too digital, and that's where this filter comes in handy. I would say that this filter has pretty much just lived on my lens all year, and to be honest, I don't see that changing anytime soon. And it must be pretty strong as well, because last summer I dropped my camera and the filter was absolutely fine, but the lens, not so much. So next is the Zoom H4n Pro, which as you can see is already getting quite a lot of use. So generally I'm just a little bit awkward on camera, and I find for me that it helps just holding a microphone. I don't really know why that is. I think it just stops me from being too fidgety. Maybe you can relate, or maybe I'm just weird. Obviously this is not the main reason why I bought this microphone. It has 2 XLR ports on the bottom, which for me is going to be really useful for interviews when I have to attach a better microphone and have that boomed in out of sight. Obviously a lot of interviews you can't just have a microphone sitting on a person or have them hold a microphone. So yeah, that's going to be really useful. Then on top of that, it's a really good field recorder, so you can take this out and record things like birds, wind, rivers, footsteps, anything that's going to help to enhance your videos. So often I'll go online to get sound effects for my work, and the sounds that I'm finding are quite clearly not from my part of the world, so it'll be really cool to use something like this to get things like bird sounds that are actually authentic to where I live. Quite often in my videos I'll need things like wind, footsteps, doors closing, anything like that, and now knowing that I can recreate it with this, it's going to be really helpful. So this is the ThinkTank cable management bag, and considering it cost me less than £20, I wish that I bought this a long time ago. So often on shoots I'll have so many little accessories, lens wipes, batteries, cables, anything like that, it all gets chucked into a random pocket in my camera bag. So being able to have all of those in one easy place is something that I wish I did a long time ago. The bag came with some handy cables that are going to be really useful in the future, but honestly it's just a great place to put things like a dust blower, lens wipes, cables and batteries. It's a really simple addition, and I'd have to say it's well worth it. It kind of just lives in my camera bag now, and yeah, it comes in handy. So I'm sure most of you have heard of Aputure lights, but until recently I either rented them or already had them available wherever I worked. It's been really wicked having one myself because it allows me to do things like this where I need a really big soft light source. It's great for B-roll shots too, and honestly it packs down pretty small, so it's not really a big issue when it comes to storage. It seems like a lot of people are selling their 120Ds at the moment. I know they've been out for a few years now, but honestly I'd say it's a good place to start. I managed to pick mine up on eBay with a Light Dome 2 attachment, and yeah, I'd say it's worth a look. Of course in the future there's going to be times where you need a bigger light or just more lights in general, so it won't solve all of your lighting problems, but I'd say it's a good investment nonetheless. And lastly, it's Milanote, which is my pre-production and planning software. I'll be honest, I'm probably not using it to its full capability, but it has been really helpful when I'm planning shoots, making storyboards, and just generally keeping track of all my projects. I tend to just grab their film pre-production template and then adjust it to suit me. These days I love to create a mood board and a shot list before I go out and shoot anything. That way I can go back on the app, make sure I've not missed anything, and quickly grab some inspiration. I'll fully admit that I used to go into a lot of shoots and completely wing it. I didn't really have a plan, but I'd always back myself to pull it out of the bag. But as I get deeper into filmmaking and just generally want to create better work, I've really started to see the importance of planning before I go out and shoot. I think I paid roughly £90 for the year, and although it's not perfect, it's probably the best I've found so far, so for that price I can't really knock it. So I'm going to be really nice and chuck in a bonus item, and that is 35mm film. I've owned a film camera now for about 5 years, and I honestly think that I've captured my favourite memories with it. I strongly believe that it will improve you as a photographer and filmmaker. It forces you to slow down, and I think doing that will naturally lead to you getting better with your composition. This upcoming year, I'm really hoping to shoot more 35mm film than I ever have before. Honestly, I don't think I've ever regretted spending money on a reel of film. If anything, I think I regret not spending more on it. I just think that the feeling that you get from these photos is just so different. Whether you're a photographer, filmmaker, or just generally want to capture your memories, this is a really good investment. That's all I've got for you today, so thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.